All right, welcome back to the shop. As you can see, I just pulled in the little red wagon. I had it in here the other day and I was doing quite a bit of stuff to it. I didn't record. Shame on me. Content is content, right? I made a new cross member for the transmission. I lowered the rear of the Jeep 2 inches, so now it sits back level again. But I got a couple free hours here. We're going to make some changes, but I'll get it up in the air and I'll show you the cross member. Okay, so I don't know if anybody watches Dex Jeeps at all. He runs a lot of tough truck competitions, and his cross member is kind of designed just like this. So, what is that? Half inch plate, maybe? By, well, let me measure it for you. Okay, so that is by 3.5 inches wide, and it goes from one side to the other. It is bolted through the frame, through the plating. I have inside and outside of the frame plated. And then I have ran this Jeep for 11 years or so with a solid mounted transmission with the old cross member. So it's the same way. I probably should do some solid motor mounts when I pull this motor, but anyway, it's bolted to the transmission, the 4 bolts there. It's welded, the cross member and the original bracket is welded to the cross member, and up top I have a fish plate that goes across here that holds any type of flex or anything. Yeah, it works out really well, really solid, so I'm glad that's done. I had to do that because of these 3-link brackets here that I put in didn't allow me to run this old cross member. So that's the bottom. Here's the top. So you can see this is where the old transmission mount was bolted to, which was also solid. But that's the old mount that I took out. This is a lot cleaner look. It allows me to go ahead and put a belly pan on here between these 2 lower links. So I'll be able to do a flat belly pan that will go across to keep anything from getting hung up between those. As you can see, it's happened already. But, and while I was in here doing that, I had to make some more clearance. So I had to cut this off. Talk about a lot of time. It was originally right here. So I moved it over 2 inches and re-welded it down. See, it was outside. It's all wet. But that gained me some clearance back here on this upper control arm after changing out those mounts. So I got that done and a cross member done. And this rear end lowered to about 2 inches. So the Jeep is sitting really well now. I want to relocate the battery to the trunk or the back, because the battery that's up front is really small, as all factory XJs are, and it doesn't allow me to put anything bigger in there. So I have a battery box, a relocation kit. We're going to mount it in the back of the Jeep. I'll open the storage area in the back and show you what that looks like and where we're going to put it. Okay, just like normal, some used leftover stuff I have laying around. This should be plenty. This is a Summit Racing battery relocation kit. I got this box, so let's see where this fits. I would like to mount it somewhere over in this area. So I'm thinking about building maybe something just angle iron, square. Let me set you down here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, maybe something, just an angle iron square. Have it mounted about right there, about that high, just above the air tank. And I want to keep it on this side because we can run the wire straight up to the front of the Jeep. That's right where everything's mounted on the engine compartment. Something along the lines of right in that area. That makes sense. We'll raise it up just a little bit, something like that, where I still can access the air tank if I need to, and mount the battery right there, line straight up front. I think that'll work really well. So then while we're at it, I'll probably go through, we need to maybe do something with the fuel lines. Do something a little different there. Does have a rollover valve. The vent needs to go outside, and just shorten up some of the stuff. We'll clean that all up. But yep, that's my plan. Somewhere right in that area. Relocate the battery. What else? Maybe we'll do some power port type stuff in the back here, maybe. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so here's what I'm kind of thinking. I have this angle iron here. Got some washers in there to space around the box. And I'll just weld a box. I have to cut a piece for this end. But just build a little tray for it to set in there. Just like that. And then I'll build some standoffs to mount it to the Jeep. That's what it's gonna look like. All right, hot off the fab table, still smoking. Baking that paint on there. There it is. Real simple. Just a little box. And the battery tray, this will flip over. And the battery tray will sit right on top of there. And we'll build a couple of standoffs. Probably weld some tabs to the roll cage. Let's let that dry. Get the Jeep back down and we'll set it in there. See what we think. Okay, dry enough. Like I said, I only got a couple hours. So I think, so my wheel tubs here are 1/8" plate, welded to the body. My cage is tied into it back there. Fuel cell, everything is all tied into these wheel tubs, welded. I think is what I want to do is take this, basically set it right up on here, somewhere like that. I'll weld it to the wheel tub, and then back here I'll make a little tab and I'll tie it into the roll cage. So it'll be, be tied into the cage and to the wheel tub. You know, basically triangulating everything there, making it stronger. And then when we set this in there, just like that, we will put that, it'll sit just like that. Plenty of room to get to the air tank right there. That just bolts to the wheel tub as well, right there and on the back side. So I'll definitely be able to get to it. I think that'll work. That'll be the strongest, simplest way to do it. Be tied in really well. All right, let's see. All right, kind of got some light in there. I know it's gonna be super hard to see. I ended up making a tab right there to weld, to strengthen everything up. But look at this. Is not moving. That is welded, super solid, not going anywhere. And then once we put that in there, and then plus the battery hold downs, they're gonna go straight down through, and I'll bolt them in the bottom of the wheel tub down here. Yeah, they'll just come straight down through there. You can see, there's my weld where I was burning the paint on the bottom side. Rock light. But there's where the air tank's mounted, those two. And we'll have 2 bolts right here where the battery hold down will be. So in here, we'll be holding the battery down like this. I think that turned out really well. So now all I gotta do is throw a battery in there and run the wire up to the front to that terminal block. All right, got the snowball effect going on. So there's the power wire. I got it ran with the main wiring harness along the kick plate all the way up to the front seat. So then I come up front here and I start tracing some wires down, moving some stuff. Believe it or not, I opened the bottom of this. This is your main fuse box, relays, everything. It was full of those stink bugs. So I might have already got them all out of the way. But these things, these bugs, was full of them in there. Talk about chance of some shorting out some wires and stuff. So I have a mess going on up here. So I am going to go, I started tracing back through the harness already. Gonna get rid of some stuff that's just in the harness that is no longer being used and is no longer needed. Just clean up this whole engine bay. So with that, I'm going to end this video with the way it is and spend a couple hours chasing back through this harness, getting rid of all this garbage that's in here, reroute cables, make everything really nice looking. And I removed the battery box, so I'm going to use this battery temperature sensor. I'm going to mount it in the box that we mounted in the back. This senses the temperature of the battery and will basically stop the alternator from overcharging the battery. So I'd like to use that. It's kind of a safety feature. That way we don't boil the battery or anything like that. Without this in there, it will run 14.4 volts constant. So I guess now, if it senses that this is getting too hot or the battery's getting too hot, it will dial back the voltage. I don't know. That's what I read. But with this nightmare wiring going on in here, I'm gonna go through and clean all this up. I'm gonna open up the whole harness and go through, retape everything, just make it a whole lot nicer looking. So that's gonna be it. We're gonna end this video now. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with some more.